Rand is upbeat as the local market awaits an interest rate decision. In early trade, the Rand slipped as local market has traded cautiously but has since stabilized. Viv Govender is the portfolio manager at Rand Swiss. He joins us now to take a look at the latest market moves. Good afternoon to you, Viv. So the Rand strengthened against the dollar in early trade today after efforts by regulators to allay fears over the global banking system fueled risk appetite. Talk to us about the latest factors influencing trade there.
Yes, we have seen the Rand strengthen. I mean, obviously, a number of factors in play. One thing I think that is often overlooked is load shedding. You tend to see the Rand weaken when load shedding increases and strengthen a bit when it decreases. And I think the fact that we've gone to level 1 and level 2 for a bit obviously does help it. We're getting more productivity in the country, more production occurring, and I think that it does help. But as you mentioned, yes, we are seeing a reduction in fear around things like the banking crisis, especially in the US. And I think that's also feeding through into more risk, loving behavior, and that's obviously beneficial for the emerging market like South Africa.
Okay, so sentiment has now improved for 4 consecutive quarters in the FNB BER Civil Confidence Index. The index increased to a more than 6-year high of 42 basis points. What happened there?
Yeah, look, I mean, firstly, we must understand that 42 basis points means that basically 42% of people are not unsatisfied, and 58% of people of respondents were basically negative. So it's still almost a 3 to 2, negative to positive ratio there. So it's still pretty negative, but it's like you said, it's improved. This comes after you saw some consumer confidence numbers also quite negative. So in this case, yeah, I think this is more a case of an improvement in relative levels, but not an overall positive number. You have to be above 50 to be an overall positive number.
Okay. Sibanye-Stillwater is close to taking full ownership of New Century Resources after building up its stake in the Australian miner to just over 90%.
Yeah, look, Sibanye has been very aggressive when it comes to basically, its activity with regards to, acquisitions. It's been very, clever with regards to, for instance, getting itself into different areas that were, that it thinks is going to be positive for future growth. Getting into Australia, I think it's good. It's more diversification. It gives it more opportunities, I think, in various markets. So I do think it's quite smart. But like I said, this has been a very aggressive company when it comes to acquisitions over the last little while. Remember, it once started off as Sibanye, becoming Sibanye-Stillwater. So it does, show that the company has basically had, tendencies for a while.
Kenya is scheduled to announce its interest rate decision today in light of protests in that country. Will a hike there heighten things?
Yeah, look, I think that the estimate right now is they're going to go to about 9, a quarter percent hike, 25 basis points hike. The inflation rate's about 8 at the moment, so that would put them at a positive real interest rate, which is obviously something you want to be looking at. So yeah, they'd be looking at about a 1% positive real interest rate. In terms of difficulty in the economy, I mean, we're seeing a lot of uncertainty right now in emerging markets. We have seen, the fact that we see interest rates rise as much as they are, a great deal of pressure on, not just emerging markets, but developed markets. Unfortunately, emerging markets don't have the same capacity to, rescue institutions, etc., when things break. But like I said, they have to do it. Otherwise, you'd be seeing them basically going towards more and more of a flat to almost negative real interest rate. 1% real interest rate is not such a strong real interest rate. And inflation is 8%, 9% interest doesn't really seem out of whack.
Thank you so much, Viv Govender, portfolio manager at Rand Swiss.